everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. I have every studio light that I have, which I have several, turned on because it is storming outside and it is dark as night, even though it's in the morning. So hopefully the power stays on. Hopefully there's not a lot of rumblings. It's still going to get to 100 today, but at least for right now, it's just super muggy out there. It's like we live in the tropics, even though it's the Midwest. So just a couple things before I get going. I'm going to be doing 2 Christmas cards today. So totally in my Christmas in July, I'll have 4 or 5 projects for you. This one's already posted. But with Christmas in July is the huge reminder that our holiday catalog, I will be able to order those next week. So I will order them. And then if you have placed any order at all, any size from April 1st to July 31st, you will get one automatically sent to you. I get them. I will have them sent to me, and then I'll send them back out. I don't trust the bulk mailing system quite as much as I trust my own. So since I pay for postage, I just want to make sure that it's people that are ordering from me. If you've never ordered before, this holiday catalog is fabulous. It is so good. So if you've never ordered before from Stampin' Up! And you are in the US and you would like me to send you one, I'll send you your first copy free. If it's been a minute and you've ordered, then just let me know and I will send you an invoice to pay for the postage. It's $5. So you'll want to get your hands on it, and it's a later start than it has been for our holiday catalogs. So we'll want to hit the ground running in September when you can place orders from it. Or you can sign up to be on my team and you too can order from it next week. And then, every new catalog I do a try it class. I have noticed that a couple of other people, demonstrators, have started having things that they're calling try it classes. Mine is I came up with the name, and as I've looked at what they're doing, it's a little bit different. So I don't want you to get confused. My Try It class happens every new catalog. It almost always fills up. We will do 10 projects. We will use the new papers, the new ribbons, and the new embellishments, and it'll be fun folds. So next week when I get something, I'll do the first project. Everybody always gets to see the first project, and registration opens first for those in my card club. They can register with a discount, and then a couple days later I'll open that. So it's a great way, and I'll have it to you in early September to mid-September, so you can see all of the things and make a decision on exactly what you want to order that way. So it's a little bit different than just having paper and embellishments and ribbons sent to you, because you'll use it. So you're not going to have a bunch of stuff left over. You'll have a lot of patterns and 10 great cards that you can use. So let's get on with Christmas in July. I love these cards, the 2 I'm going to show you. So this one I use Trucking Along. Like I said, this tutorial is already posted. For this one, I'm also going to use something from the online exclusives. In fact, all of my Christmas projects will. For this one, I am going to use the One Horse Open Sleigh paper. I did not get the stamps and the dies. It was really warm when we could pre-order, and they just weren't speaking to me, so I got the paper. So we're just going to make the paper work with some other stuff. But I do want to show it to you. So let's take a look. I've showed it to you before when it first came in, but in case you missed that, I'm going to show you the other side first. So here's the other side of the paper, and it's got some great patterns. Why you would ever want to use this side of the paper, I have no idea, because when you see the other side, the real side, well, this one's cute. I could see using that one. I think this is the one I used. I should have got that card. I have used the paper once before, but it wasn't a Christmas card. I just did an outdoors card. So there is the other side. Now you want to see that side, and then I'll pull out the 2 that I'm using. So they are all artwork. They're mostly wintry. There's one. Look how fabulous this one is. So you'll be able to tell my 2 favorites, because that's the 2 we're going to use today. So we're going to use this one. It looks like the paper's lit up, even though it's not. It probably would help if there was some sun. I do like this one too. I'll show you this one and the other one. I have another one. I had top 4, but I decided to just go with it. If the paper stays in stock, this is another one. I love the fox, and I love, especially when it's 100 degrees outside, to look at a nice cold day. It's never that much fun to be in this cold for those of you that don't live in the Midwest. It is at first. Here's another one where it looks lit up. I love those. The color combinations are super fun. Another wintry one. And then we're going to use this one because, look, check out that deer. She's cute as can be. And some more snow. Almost done. So it's a great pack of paper. It's part of the online exclusives, and there will be a link down below my video. This is the one I used on the other card because I just made it look like water. If you're in Card Club, we just did 6x6 paper this month, so they got a little lesson on how to use 6x6 paper. And as you can see, this is 6x6 because I thought about making tags so I could show you more of the paper, but the paper is so much fun you don't want to make a tag. So for these, we have two, and the other reason I chose these is we're going to go two different directions. So when you cut your 6x6 paper and you have it like this, you kind of need to be intentional when you cut it. So let's do this one first. So I just kind of take a look at my paper, and there's a huge tree over here, right? So we can lose most of that huge tree. So let's just get it, so we go to here. You don't want to go any smaller than 4. So if we go 4, we can get this whole giant piece here. And then if you want, you can use this on another one. This is going to be cut a little bit different than my other one. And then, so we have some beautiful petal pink, and then we have snow. So I can lose the snow. So we need 4 by 5 1/4. So that is cut. My other one has more of a tree over here. I'm going to kind of work with the placement on this one, so it'll be a little bit different. And then I'm going to use this because this is a beautiful piece. You could make a tag with it if you do it this way. That's why I decided the second time to just go ahead and do 4 to show you that this is plenty big enough to make a tag. But I'm going to put it on the inside of my card. I'm not making tags. I'm going to do it 5 1/2, so it goes the whole distance of the card. If you hand make all of your tags, I highly suggest you start now. So there's the one card. So now we're going to do this one. It's going to go the other direction. So if you did it long ways on this card, you would lose all of these trees over here, which you could, and have another card and have a tag because the house is lit up. But I want to do it so we get the most that we can of the scene this way. So it needs to be 5 1/4 this way. No, 4. It needs to be 4 this way. So I am going to, I like to kind of lay this down. Obviously, if we do 4 here, we're going to chop right through our house. So we need to give up some of the top. I'm going to put this up here. So 4 by 5 1/4 is standard for a layer on your card. On these, I'm going to go just a fraction bigger. So this needs to be 4, but I'm going to do 4 1/4 would be the whole card, and I don't want it to cover the thing. So I'm just going to go 4 1/4, and then I'm going to slide it down just a little bit. That will get me as much of this beautiful paper on here as I can. So now we have it this way. So now you also have to make a decision. Do you want to lose this or do you want to lose that? Because a 1/2 inch of it's going. A little less than half because we're going to fudge it a little bit. So I'm going to shave off just a little fraction over here. And then over here, we need to make it be 5 1/4, and then I'm going to go a fraction bigger. So now we have our 2 pieces of paper, and I'm going to save all these scraps for the inside. And they're cut 2 different directions with as much of the paper as we can without losing it. So that's all the cutting. So for the stamps, I just pulled out a current stamp that has Christmas sentiments. This is in the annual catalog, and I know lots of you got it last year because we did some really beautiful cards with it. It's the one that has these really fun dies, which would also work with this paper. So I just pulled out 2 of the sentiments and then the snow. So let's stamp these. I am going to stamp. Trying to figure out which ones I want. So this one says "Let Heaven and Nature Sing," which I think is perfect for the little deer card. So I'm going to stamp in Pecan Pie, which is one of our new colors, and it is beautiful. So we have that. I like to, especially when you're using cling, I like to stamp first because then you can line the die up to make it be straight. Then I am going to, there's these splotches in the stamp set. I had a piece of scrap paper here when we started, did I not? I must have moved it because I need to stamp off. I'm just going to get a different piece of scrap paper. I thought I had one laying here. So this is Petal Pink. I'm going to stamp off once and twice for the big one, and then I'll huff on it. So it's just light. And then I know Petal Pink's a super light color. You would think that you didn't have to stamp off on it at all. But if you don't, it's going to cover up your picture. So then we have a little bit of snow. And then for our second saying, I tried a bunch of different things. I did the exact same thing and I just switched the colors, but it was too much on the with the paper. So then because I thought it needs to just be the colors of the paper. And then here you have this scrap. So I'm just going to use this little scrap piece here in Misty Moonlight. And we're just going to cut that. So this one didn't end up getting snow. Originally it was in pecan. So there's that, and it doesn't matter how crooked you do it because you're going to put your die on straight. So let me show you what I'm going to run through the die cut machine. I have the deckled rectangles, and remember I told you that catalog is fabulous that's coming. It has deckled circles. I can't wait to get them. But these are the deckled rectangles. I'm going to do the small one on my sentiments. And then I have this fabulous paper. It's in the same pack, so you get two colors. So we'll have to, on the graduated next size up, deckled rectangle for a background. And then just to give our paper a little bit of life, if you still have the Settles embossing folder, use it. But it's retired, and so I didn't want to use that one. This is every single time. I will never remember the name of it. I think it looks like spackle, but that's not what it is. So I'm going to put both of my pieces of paper and run them through this. All right, so I have cut these out. We have these, and we're going to talk a little bit about why you might think those look super crooked. And then I put both of these through this embossing folder, which just kind of makes them look a little bit artsy, a little bit like maybe it's been hand painted on canvas. Now we're going to go, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do both cards at once, but they'll deviate just a little bit. So here these are. I want to add just a little bit of sparkle to these fun images, but I don't want to like cover it with Stella. So I'm just going to literally brush it on so it's not one continuous thing. Plus I think sometimes with Stella, it can be a little bit less is more. The light tends to pick it up when it's next to something that's not sparkly. So I'm just kind of brushing it on here. I lost this whole tree over here, which on the other one we have another tree, but we gained a 2-inch piece of paper on the inside. So it's just kind of up to you. So I just put it on the tree trunks. And then I'm going to take it down here at the bottom. And just where the snow is darker, add it to that. Now some ribbons, the ribbon and the sentiments are going to cover up some of this, and you can do it second if you want. So you don't waste Stella, but since I'm doing two at the same time. So we have that. And now let's do the lights on here. So again, I don't want to cover everything up. I think those vintage cards were just a little bit of it was glittered. And I like to collect some of the vintage cards. And sometimes I'm like, the glitter placement on this was kind of random. And sometimes it's like a really dark color. So I'm going to put it on my house, just on the roof part. Have that kind of sparkle because that snow on there is in the dark, so it's not all the way lit up. And then I'm going to add it to the warm inside of my house. It's where it's coming out those windows. And then we all know that when our windows shine out on the snow, it does sparkle there. And then there's a window over here that's behind the tree. But I didn't get the tree, I just got that. And now I'm just gonna add it to all of the little lights. And again, some of them will end up getting covered up. So if you wanna do this step after you've put your ribbon and your sentiments on, you can do that. With these lights, I'm going a little bit bigger than what they are, so it catches that reflection off of the trees. So you can hopefully see how just, it really is a less or more with the Stella on this particular paper. Because if you put too much, then it's just going to all be sparkly and you want it to kind of grab the light. So we have our two panels. So then when I cut them, and you noticed, you may have thought, well, she was really crooked. She cut those. So when you're working with beautiful paper, a lot of times I use vellum. A lot of, you know, you don't want to cover up all the paper. And with this, if you stick a big old thing on here, then half of your design is gone. So I want it to go off the edge. So I just need as much as what our sentiment is. So when I cut them, I put it to the side that I knew that I was going to put it on. So see, now we're going to still have the beautiful sentiment, but we're gaining that much of the paper. So first we're going to layer these on. And so again, whichever direction you're going, put it that way. You also don't have to cut the whole piece of the shimmer paper, but to just show you what I was doing. So if you know that that's how much, then just cut your paper that big. And when you run your die through, you're not wasting paper. And then this one is going to go the opposite direction. So we're going to add it here. So we have our two sentiments. Oops, I did that wrong. So let's add this one here. Now we have them going opposite directions for where we want to place them on the card. And I tried to keep it so we are not using a ton of different stuff. The only thing that's different is the ribbon, because I started with this ribbon and it was just too big over here, so I switched to a different ribbon. So I'm going to do a little bit of a faux bow because I want the whole bow on here. So let's do, it's a real bow. It's just a faux the way we're going to attach it. So let's add this here. Grab our scissors. Those desperately need to be sharpened. And then let's fold this around here. So we have this, and that's very crooked. Let's do it this way. This is the pecan pie ribbon. It's beautiful. And I haven't used it, I don't think, in a tutorial. We used it in the Try It class for the annual catalog, but I wanted you to see it. And it looks really pretty with this paper. It looks good with both. It's just too much for that one. So now I want to do as small as bow as possible. So don't waste a lot on this end here. And this is wide ribbon, so it's not going to be a tiny bow. When we get over to our other ribbon, we can make it be super little. Because again, I don't want to compete with the paper. It's a Christmas card, so you can have lots of sparkle and lots going on it, but I want the paper to really be the focus of attention. So start with your bow and then just make it smaller and smaller. It gets bigger every time you tighten it. So that's pretty good. A little bit smaller there. And then because I want this to lie nice and flat, I'm not going to pull that knot. Now for this part, I would recommend that you use glue. I'm not going to, just for the sake of time, but I would glue my bow on. And probably if I was doing this, I would glue this piece on once I had the glue out, because sometimes on our specialty paper, the stuff doesn't stick as well. So let's put our sentiment on. So put your adhesive on. And then you want it to go just to the edge of the words. And then kind of, see there's a tree up here, right here, there's nothing. I'm going to put it a little bit lower than I might otherwise, so you can see some of that tree up there. And then just simply flip it backwards, and we're going to use that to cut. And then for this one, I always do a pink Christmas card. This is way early for it to count as my pink Christmas card. Ever since I became a demonstrator in the 90s. It was in 1995 that I became a demonstrator, so it's been a hot minute. Coming up on 30 years. But that first year I did a pink Christmas card with a tree, and we didn't have a lot of stuff back then, but it was pink and silver. And so ever since then, it's just been my thing. I think it looks a little retro. So this is on Blushing Bride, and look how it really makes that sky back here pop. And then we're just gonna take this, again, I would use glue. Let me see if I can get it a tad bit smaller. But you can if you're gluing it, because it doesn't have to be pulled as tight. It's a little bit better. My other one, I didn't make it quite as small, and looking on it in the card, I was like, you could have made it a little bit smaller there, Cheri. And then on my other one, I have it here, but my deer's more to the center, so let's see. And that's the other good thing, when you do a bow this way, you're in total control of where the bow ends up. Kind of makes my card heavy that way, so I'm going to go over here. And then that would be glue. Then it's not going to come untied. It's going to stay perfectly flat. So there's that. We're still not quite done with it, but let's move on to this one, and then we'll, when we meet back up. So for this one, this is another online exclusive, so you're only going to find it on my website. If you're on my email list, you can look down below the video if you're looking for stuff. But it matched the paper, it matches the theme of the lights, and it puts a ribbon on here without being too much. It comes in a silver and the silver and gold both. So you could use the silver on this card if you don't want to use that pecan ribbon, but that's beautiful. Use the pecan. Or if you still have some of the petal pink ribbon from last catalog, I couldn't remember if that retired. That would be pretty on there too. So first add this. So now we just have a little bit of ribbon and it looks beautiful. And do the same thing, put your adhesive on here. And because I've lost some of my tree over here, but this is gonna give me more room without covering up my house. On my other card, this goes into my house. It doesn't really matter, and so you don't stress about it a lot. I'm gonna show you, I intentionally cut both of these different than I did the first time. So you can see you don't have to worry about it because they're all gonna look beautiful. And then we're gonna tie a little bow. We're doing the exact same thing, just with different ribbon. This ribbon is a little bit harder to tie, but it's easier to get a small bow. I wish it was sunny out. Seriously, it's July and it's 10 o'clock in the morning and it's dark. Again, you can glue this one. I would glue it so it doesn't fall off. So you can get it a little bit smaller because you don't have to keep tightening it. So here we go. And then with this ribbon, it does kind of smush where you pull it. See, this one I have fluffed back up. That one is smashed from me pulling it. So just kind of open it back up. We'll cut these. I will glue them after my video's done. I like to make them look like, and glue is easier on this one, like they're part of the ribbon, so you do want it on the ribbon. So then people are like, how did she tie that bow? I get asked that a lot. It's fake. It's not really fake, it's a bow. So this is pecan pie. I laid it on the espresso. The espresso was a little dark. I liked the way that this lightened it up. And remember with this one, I have cut it so we have as much as our scene as possible. So the border on this one's really small, but that's okay. Oops, my bow fell off. See, it needs glue. And I would have it be the very last thing that you do. You could also use a glue dot. Just forget about those because where they sit on my desk, I have them in something pretty. So because they're covered up, you can't see them. So let's do the insides of our cards. So for this one, remember we have this nice giant piece now. I'm just gonna open this up. I love to make the insides of Christmas cards be pretty. And this pack of paper, if you have a friend who you've always wanted to stamp with you, or your sister, your mom, and they're always like, I can't. Seriously, all you have to do is cut paper and tie some ribbons. So this would be a great pack of paper to get if you're still going camping later in August and you want to take it because the supplies are so minimal and you can make the same things work with a lot of this paper. Now with this, you can see that it just has little highlights. It's enough to make our card be pretty. I'm going to put it down here. I think I put it on the top on the other one. And I'm just going to trim it to match. So we don't have nearly as much to work with, but there's some. You also have this piece here. If you'd rather save this, then you could put that over on that side, or you could do both because it's so pretty. I hate to throw any of it in the trash. Wait till you see there's a nativity paper, there's glow in the dark paper in the holiday catalog that's coming. I will do an unboxing next week. Now these embellishments are also from the online exclusive. They're our names with the embellishments have gotten so literal. They're adhesive back snowflake assortment. So you can see they come in the copper, the gold, and the white. So let's do this one first. This one we're going to go gold because that is what, I don't know where my take your pick tool, there it is. Can't reach it. I moved everything out of the way to be able to film. So there's 2 sizes. So stick this one here. So again, these are in the online. So down below the video or on my blog, they will be posted. Is that not just fabulous? Now let's do my I don't know. I was going to say my favorite, but I really like that one. And when I came back upstairs, I went downstairs after I designed them and I made myself a cup of tea and I came back and this one was just standing on my desk in kind of the dark. When somebody hangs this, you know, on their refrigerator or their Christmas card rack, when they walk in every day at Christmas after you've sent it to them, they will be like, oh, I love that card. Because it's just it grabs your attention the way the lighting is on it. So here we're gonna do the white. And then there's this sheet of giant ones that I did not use on here. Those will have to make an appearance on the next card, so we're gonna have to use that. So now let's look at how I cut the paper. We're about done. So this one, see, you have more tree. And more trees. I have 2 of the light up trees on that side. I have a little bit more of the windows at the bottom. So it doesn't matter. So don't stress about it. You just want to make sure that you get your focal points on there and then decide if you're able to cut it so you have a wider strip left to mess with. So there's that one. And then here's our little deer girl. So no tree. Notice all the forest is over here. The bow is over here. But here, this one has a tree. So seriously, don't stress about, oh, I don't want to get this paper because I'm not sure how I'd cut it. Super easy. As long as you don't want to hack your house in half. You most certainly don't want to cut your deer in half. But most of the papers are designed so there is a focal point to it. If there's not, then just stick something right in the middle of it. And it'll be beautiful. So again, if you're interested in getting a catalog, make sure you've placed an order since April 1st. If you're not sure if you have. If you've placed anything from the new annual catalog, you're good. If you bought anything at the last chance sale at the end of the catalog in April, you're good. But I'm happy to check for you. If you're new and you want a catalog, let me know. And I'm going to go create my last Christmas in July project. Have a good one. Bye.